Hi, my name is Ashlynn Joseph. My siblings are Andrea Joseph and Abel Joseph. We're the children of Joshua and Susan, and we're going to be sharing the story of how we processed grief and how we found hope in the middle of it. So I wanted to take some time to talk about my grandma, Dace Mummy. She was the liveliest person in the house, and anywhere she went, she brought laughter and joy, and she filled our houses with so much love. When she got diagnosed with cancer, whenever she had that diagnosis, she actually fought through it really well, and she had gone into remission. And so 2 years later, after we thought we had finished the whole cancer diagnosis, after we thought we had defeated it, the cancer had returned, and she was in stage 4, and it had metastasized.
I remember when my grandma was passing and she was in hospice. She was doing hospice care in my mom's house. But I remember on that Tuesday, the Tuesday before she passed, I made it a point to come to the house and see her again. And this time she was a little bit more uppity and a little cheery. I came and sat by her bed and we talked for like 2 hours. I think this was the final piece that I needed and that she needed before she was gonna pass, because I was the last grandchild left for her to do her prayer over. She prayed over me, and then I got the call on Wednesday night, you need to go to the house. So then when I came back home that final night, all her family was surrounding her and she got to go.
In Dace Mummy's last moments, a couple weeks before she passed, I tried to be joyful and I tried to bring comfort to her, but I slowly realized that it wasn't working, and the only person that could have done it was God, and only God was able to bring her the comfort that she needed in those last few moments.
2 years after the passing of Dace Mummy, we had found a lot of comfort and hope in our family just by remembering Dace Mummy's memories with us and reminiscing and sharing the laughter and joy that she had always wanted us to experience. And we always felt her presence in little ways over these past 2 years. However, a few weeks ago, on October 25th, I got the most devastating text from my dad saying that Zachary Abraham, our cousin, had been in a horrible accident.
When we got to the hospital after we heard about Zach's accident, I was praying really hard that God would heal him, because during that time, I thought God would have everything to gain from letting Zach live. I thought Zach would have such an amazing testimony to share with all of us.
The entire time, I feel like his friends, his family, we turned the entire hospital into a church. Literally, we had the whole waiting room filled with people praying and interceding on his behalf. What we did pray for was that we wanted the best for Zach. And if the best for Zach is for God to take him, that's something we need to be okay with, because that it is his plan at the end of the day. We are his children, and he can choose, how he wants our story to begin and end.
Then a couple days later, we saw that Zach passed away, and that really crushed me. But then the next week, when we went back for the funeral and the memorial service, I really saw how God use Zach for his glory. In the funeral and the memorial service, we saw how Zach's story was uncovered to us, and it made me want to get closer to God because I saw how close Zach was to God.
For 2 years of processing my grandma's passing, and then in these last few weeks with processing Zachary's passing, I think my biggest struggle has been trying to understand why these things happen. And what I've learned from over these past few weeks is that I realized that I needed to draw nearer to God, because once I drew nearer to God, I could see that God could relate to me in the suffering, and that he had walked through this with his own son and with his own relationship with us, and that even though we had experienced this ugly side of death, that there's still a beautiful side of death, because it does mean that we are returning to our Father, and it does mean that we're coming back as one with him.
So grief for me, as it is for most people probably, is a process. It's a process that doesn't end, and it's something that I'm still going through and will probably still be going through until I pass. Something that is important to do throughout all of this is, when you experience grief, remember the legacy that they left behind. carry it out through your own lives. Let their light shine through you, to make them proud with the life I live, because they made us proud and they made their Heavenly Father proud. So knowing this, I just want to make both of them proud with the life I live.
I have the hope that I'll be reunited with my dates mummy and my cousin Zach again.